I hope you've been enjoying that welcome cough from Rachel.
It was fun.
That's, when you're here, your family. That means you enjoy a welcome cough. We're like Olive Garden.
When you're here,
Your family. Mm-hmm. When you're not here, we hate you. We hate you. But when you're here, with your family. Now, the name of this live stream is, of course, stolen from my world famous business genius idea. All licenses all the time. Can you guess what their business is? It's all licenses all the time. But today, we're not talking about licensing. We're talking about typology and cognitive functions. Why? Because people care about that. That's why. And they don't care about much of anything else I talk about. Oh, sure, I could talk about my knee.
What happened to your knee?
Nothing. Nothing of note at all. It's there. It works fine. It helps the bottom part of my leg move independently from the top part of my leg.
They are very defined in your legs as well.
Nice and round.
Yes.
A lot of people have square knees. Not me. I got the rounded kind.
Yeah, you do.
That's, it costs extra as an aftermarket thing. But I'm not going to talk about my knee today. I could talk about my cool new visor.
That is cool.
I could talk about that. But that's not the subject of today's live stream. Today's live stream is all typology all the time.
Okay, well, what kind of type would wear a visor?
Extroverted cool, introverted awesome, extroverted visor, introverted shade. That's the type of person that wears a visor like this.
Yeah, it is. Type in all the time.
This is actually my dad's visor, but, I think I was born to wear it.
I think so too. It fits you really nicely.
I make a visor look pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it says Waikoloa on it. I'm looking pretty badass in my Hawaiian resort visor.
Is that what you wear on your type police days off?
This is what I wear when I go to gamble in the alleys in the inner city. Throw dice in the alleys.
Yeah. You need to have something to distinguish yourself so that people can't really see your emotions on your face.
Well, here's the thing. You may think that's only in movies that people do that. You just have to walk down enough alleys and enough downtown urban areas, and eventually you'll find a dice game. I'm sure.
You will.
And boy, odds are you're going to win a lot of money there.
The odds.
True that.
The odds are, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Right. Okay, so not a lot of action in the stream here today in the first 4 minutes. 3 people present. One of them is probably Rachel. And nothing to build off of in the chat. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and initiate further unsourced creative output after I pull this bong up. Okay, well, let me say, that was quite a juicer, quite a juicy bong right there. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Today we're talking typology, and we're fielding comments, questions, concerns, complaints, queries, considerations from the assembled personages. I'm going to put a link here as well. If you'd like to voice your questions, comments, concerns, complaints, queries, etc., with your voice rather than your fingers, you may join me here in the autonomy room, where you will not appear on camera, but your voice will be audible on the stream. That reminds me, I should bring the microphone closer to me and turn it up. Since I was doing something earlier where I had to turn it way down. There, is that better? Are you feeling more like a real woman now? Finally, Eric turned up the microphone, and for the first time ever, I felt like a real woman.
Eric, you sometimes feel not so fresh.
Well, Rachel, I used to, and that's before I discovered Summer's Eve. Summer's Eve is a gentle wash that helps freshen my most intimate areas.
What cognitive function uses Summer's Eve?
The freshness cognitive function. Because you don't want your down there parts to smell bad when it's time to get it on with the eating. Right? That's why. So anyhow, it's all typology all the time here today. Though thus far we haven't actually talked any typology at all. But trust me, that's because this is the preseason of this live stream. This is not the regular season of the live stream. Once the regular season of the live stream begins, it will be all typology all the time.
If you were to trade your typology type for another, what would it be? You have to choose.
ENTJ? It seems like the type that's most well suited to succeed according to conventional success criteria.
In your next life.
It's kind of the opposite of me, you know. I do a whole shit ton of work with very little impact. ENTJs do a lot of work with massive amount of impact. So
I'm glad you're not an ENTP because I can trust. I mean, I'm glad you're not. Yeah, because I can trust you.
You can trust me.
And then you're not also supervising me. That would be a real big bummer.
Rachel. I think you better get on that laundry.
Wouldn't you be so disappointed about me not going to my appointment?
Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah, ENTJ would.
Rachel missed her appointment today. Like, I gotta go to the airport for 2 hours, Rachel. Come on now.
I got into a whole dark. You know me. I took Adderall and I've been studying celebrities, man.
Rachel, I respect your dedication to your tweaking out on whatever.
Thanks. You know why? Because sometimes, I feel like I'm going to meet these people and I don't want to be fooled. Because actors act a lot.
I mean,
I want to work with them, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, you got to remember, you can only really be fooled if they've got some sort of attempt to manipulate, maneuver, or deceive you.
Yeah, true.
And generally speaking, a person kind of controls their own vulnerability to that to a certain extent by access to themselves in larger context than the specific work context. You know?
Yeah.
But because of our relationship, you're not susceptible to any sort of exploitation because I'm somewhat possessive, like anybody would naturally be, and protective, and I fuck you up, you know.
Right, exactly. But as you want to become a president, it is good to have celebrity social
friends,
ties.
Right. Who wants to be a celebrity? Who's a celebrity who wants to be my friend? I need celebrity friends if I want to be president. Who can get me some celebrity friends?
I think it'd be easy. Dave Chappelle would be your friend. I think Joe Rogan would be your friend.
You'll take the money without the fame. I'll take the fame without the money. I mean, I want some money, but I don't,
No.
I'll take the bully pulpit. The advantage of being well known is that you are heard by a lot more people than somebody who's not well known. I like the idea of being widely heard. I like the idea of my High Spirit Mayo.
Antivio Silva.
Spirit Mayo is a Biden supporter. Welcome. Life Syncrotic. I welcome Trump supporters as well. Freddie Forgiato wrote you. I wrote you in. Oh, you wrote me in. Thanks, Freddie Forgiato. Thank you.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I wanted to do it, but I can't do it this year.
Yeah, I just discovered from Delilah that I can go vote anywhere in the county. They changed the law so that now anybody who's registered in LA County can vote at any polling location.
So they're like.
So I don't really have any excuse at all, except I just don't feel like voting. I don't know. Last election, this election, I voted every election. I voted for even small elections I'd sometimes vote for. Last two presidential elections, I've been too dispirited. The thought of going and voting has been too dispiriting. Mm-hmm. I don't like any of the four candidates in the last two elections. I don't like dementia Biden with wink and a nod President Harris behind him. I don't like that at all. I don't like Trump. And I certainly didn't like Hillary Clinton either. So when I'm totally disgusted by the presidential candidates, it just demoralizes me such that I just don't even want to go vote. And I'm just not going to. It makes me sad. It's like, what the hell is this?
But Freddie Forgiato signed you up.
Did I like Bernie? No.
That means your name is going to be like in, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you have to have a certain number of people vote right in before they make any note of it.
I take that as a foot in the door.
Thank you, Freddie Forgiato. Seriously, I appreciate your support. And come this following their inauguration, I will launch a genuine and serious campaign for the presidency of 2024, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to do the best I can to get elected.
I can be a campaign manager. I know how to. I'm not ashamed to go up to people and be like, blah!
Fantastic. No, I wouldn't have voted for Bernie at all. I didn't like Bernie. The problem with, each of these candidates has very many concrete problems. Bernie's weak. He's not a leader in any meaningful sense of the word. He can't even control a room. Trump's an ESFP, to put it bluntly. And that's just, an ESFP has no business in public office. And then, it's like Biden has dementia. I'm not going to vote for somebody who has dementia. Biden would seem like, if he were 15 years younger, would seem like a preferable alternative to Trump. But I'm also not going to play wink and a nod, vote for Harris. If she wants to be president, she needs to run for president. She can't sneak in backdoor style and just sort of take over for Biden while he whiles away his senile years in a chair in the Lincoln bedroom.
Isn't that how Woodrow Wilson basically ran?
That's how Ronald Reagan ran shit, dog. Nancy was running that show. You think Ronald was in charge those last 4 years? Nancy was running that show, dog. Ronald had that Alzheimer's disease. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is truth.
Truth. I'm ruthless with the truth.
You've seen them.
I think it's fair to say that I'm ruthless with the truth. I don't think anybody would dispute that.
No.
Right. What Isaac Rowdy said, Biden would be a puppet. He'd be a figurehead, you know? It's just what I said. He'd be sitting in the Lincoln bedroom going, oh, what's this? And while Harris is running the country. And I'm not saying inherently that Harris is unqualified to be in office or whatever. I'm saying it's unbecoming both the person and the office to try to sneakily get control of the country in that fashion. And there's no way in fucking hell I'm voting for that ticket. No way. It's underhanded what they're doing. It's not acceptable. Because they're pretending like Biden is fine, but they know he's not fine, and they're lying to everybody about it.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
Yeah, it's not cool. I'm not voting for those fuckers. I'm not voting for Trump. So I could go write my own name in. I should do that. But, I do have an appointment at 5 o'clock. So, I mean.
Who's the newest member of your rap group?
Poppin' Fresh? No.
Something Peach?
Crackleberry Loving Jay? I don't know if Kanye is on the ballot or not.
Now you look like Malibu's Most Wanted.
In the boo.
In the boo.
That's what that guy called it in that movie. If you haven't seen Malibu's Most Wanted, it's a pretty good movie. It's not great, but it's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
It is funny. It's good humored.
So there was an actress we were talking about who was in it, had a big role. Oh, right. This trips me out. Did you know that lady who was in Knocked Up is not Jessica Simpson, first of all, and didn't really ever go on to have any career besides that movie? It was kind of like her one movie she was in. That tripped me out because it seems like you've seen her before. She's got a kind of familiar look.
She was in Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy? That's a TV show.
Yeah, but she was in this other movie called 27 Dresses, and that was it. She had a really bad reputation. She still has a really bad reputation for being a difficult person to work with.
Really?
Yeah.
She's difficult to work with?
So she's kind of like blacklisted. Yeah.
I wonder what makes her difficult to work with. Does she demand like that they remove all the red M&Ms, like that kind of shit?
None of that stuff, yeah. Like, she's known as a super bitch. Sorry to spoil the party.
No, I'm just thinking. I was imagining myself all the fun jokes I could play if I was in a position to like have a dressing room periodically. If I got interviewed places that had dressing rooms, I could go and be, all right, Kate, hey, look.
Oh my gosh.
Listen. This is what I need here. I need 6 sandwiches, but not regular sandwiches. Right? I need cucumbers, little slices of cucumbers as the bread. I need very thin Italian prosciutto as the next layer. Then a layer of brie. Smeared, not splattered. Give a very complicated, make sure they write it all down and just go, I'm just fucking with you. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. You know what Katherine Hagel does well as an actress? she expresses confused disgust. The old typing videos get deleted. Tried to find mine the other day. Not usually unless somebody asked me to take them down. Somebody asked me to take one down the other day. I took one down. But if I don't have any reason to take down a video, I don't take it down. Unless somebody complains about it or something, you know. I'm not sure what happened to yours. I could look for it if you want. Did you possibly go by a name other than Sean in the title? Perhaps you went by on because you were watching Pauly Shore at the time. Let's see. Well, on. Here's what I have for you. When I channel search, when I put the channel search, the word Sean, this video popped up. Is that you, Sean? Is that the Sean of yore? Is that the Sean we are looking for?
What's the knocked up?
Knocked Up, correct. That was my second wife's favorite movie. Knocked Up.
What was your first wife's favorite movie?
You know, I don't know. She liked West Side Story, and she liked Totoro. She was the one who introduced me and Delilah to Totoro. She's like rabidly anti COVID phobia. You know, it's like she's one thing that she and I, my first wife and I, had in common at the time was we were both fairly libertarian in our politics. I've become substantially. I'm more or less not subject to those labels anymore. At least not the three main labels: left, right, libertarian. I explicitly try to take an approach that says, let's evaluate each particular issue as an issue on its own merits, rather than trying to decide whose agenda is correct first. You know. So in that regard, I think it could be fairly said that none of those labels apply to me. But her mom, Delilah's mom, has gone even more so. Like Delilah's mom was she went to this is long after we were together, but she attended parties that were hosted by Reason Magazine here in Los Angeles, where I don't know if she donated to it or I don't know. Who knows? But like I remember she posted on some social media that I saw at some point. She was very excited at having met Matt. What's that guy's name from Reason Magazine? Matt. He's a pretty famous writer. Let me see. Reason Magazine. Matt Welch. Matt Welch. Yeah. %% of libertarians today are hardly libertarians. Well, I mean, my position on it is simply that if we're focused on overarching agenda, we're doing it wrong. We should try to be as agendaless as possible. And that doesn't mean unprincipled. It just means let's not worry about who's right and wrong about the overarching issue. Let's instead talk about what we're going to actually do that's going to be a good policy. And be okay with the other side winning some battles and with your side winning some battles. I'll be a fair and good arbiter. I'm going to try to make it so nobody wins anything. Everybody ordered pie and get a slice of cake instead, and they like it, and that's it. You know, it's like I want that for all. I want nobody to be happy with me at the end of my 4 years. except for historians, like that the people who understand presidents in terms of presidencies understood that I did the hard job. I'm willing to be unpopular to do the right thing. I'm also willing to be convinced that I'm doing the wrong thing. So it's not like I'm gonna force my agenda. I don't have an agenda, right? But if I see a given piece of legislation hit my desk, and it seems to have net benefits that are substantial, I can measure, anticipate meaningfully. There's a lot of, it's hard to say exactly what the conditions would be, but if it meets a lot of different conditions, I'm going to sign that shit. And I don't care which side it gives a win to, Question mark, please tell us why. Oh, it's unlisted? You want me to list it? Why did I unlist it, I wonder? I don't know why I enlisted it. Maybe it got like maybe somebody flagged it. I'm not sure. I don't know. She hated working on Knocked Up.
She was like, I was working around all these stoners, and I don't do that sort of thing. So I felt like I was working in the wrong, on the wrong kind of film.
Well, just think about the guys. They had to work around this bitch the whole time.
Yeah. And that's why, they have no problem talking about her, being a bitch, because she, basically threw the whole production, under the bus.
He feels depressed because the world is getting stranger and stranger by the day. I feel as though the high water mark of craziness is behind us. Regarding the COVID stuff, at least, I really do. I think that people are fed up with the bullshit, and I see it all over the place. It's like, I really do. I think that as far as COVID goes, you can only sustain the bullshit narrative so long. There's only so much authoritarianism. Even the most devoted, even the most rabid devotees of the COVID religion are willing to resort to, So and as a consequence, since here we are, and it's like the sky is falling, but where are the chunks of sky? Delilah came home today from New York. I picked her up from the airport. She said, "Oh, I'm going to go get a COVID test. I think I might have COVID." I said, "Well, why do you care if you have COVID?" And yeah, Freddie Forgiato. I think that's absolutely just trying to get elected talk. He may actually follow through with that policy because he may be agenda based. I don't know.
I'm going to pick a Chinese fortune for question mark.
Good idea.
Okay.
Anybody else get hit with a nightmare last night? My daughter got hit with nightmares last night.
Wow.
She was telling me about them in the car.
I was wondering if ESTPs get some NI stuff through their dreams.
Well, people say that, I've heard somewhere before anyway, that your dreaming is rooted in your SI and your fourth slot some way. For me, that's SI. But, your fourth slot. Yeah. So it's like the way that comes through for me is it's like I tend to have dreams that are set in places from my past, even if new things are happening in them. It'll be like at my grandma's house, and so in that regard, I think that it seems consistent with my own experience, but I don't know. I don't even remember where I heard it. So it consistent with my own experience is not a good reason to believe it's true. If it's consistent with yours as well and a bunch of other people's, then we might start thinking, hey, I think there's something to that, like MJ here says she dreams, colors, textures, physical combinations. What kind of dreams do you have, Rachel?
I don't really remember them very well. Do you want to be honest? I have a lot of sex dreams. A lot.
Well, that would go along with SE, fourth slot.
I'll wake up and I'll be like, what the?
They better all be about me.
They are.
Rachel, I will never police your mind. Okay? Whatever happens in your dreams and in your imagination is your business, not mine.
Well, you too pop up in my dreams.
Well, thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
My dreams would be puzzles very often. I had to solve them, stop the repeating nightmares, like trying to escape with a band of siblings that would fail to protect them and they'd die.
Wow.
Those are terrible dreams. It's terrible. Women talk this but do that. Men think this but act like that. What is that? Question mark. Is that like stand-up comedian? Fill in the blank. I'm ISFJ and I also have sex dreams almost every night. I have no idea why. Let's see. Are they weird? Are you dressed in crazy costumes and stuff? If the thing was, if you're an ISFJ and this rule were consistent, then you would have a lot of extroverted intuition in your dreams. That is to say, wild, different things, disparate things, a lot of new stuff in some way. Yeah, I don't have a lot of sex dreams. Really. That's a horrible dream, that. So it's another SE dream of some sort. A lot of my dreams don't make any sense. It's just I'm going towards something and then maybe something gets in the way and I go, what's this thing over here now? And then, it's like, I don't know. I don't really remember them. It's just kind of random shit happening. Sometimes I do remember them, though. I had a dream the other day that I remember. Do you remember me saying how I remembered that dream? Do you remember what it was that I remembered?
Just that I was in it.
That you were in it?
Mm-hmm. And then you woke up.
It's interesting, of course. Rachel and I both remember having a conversation in which I recounted to her a dream that was unusual for me because I remembered it so clearly, even though it had happened hours earlier in the night. Like I woke up in the middle of the night from the dream and I continued sleeping, but I still remembered it in the morning.
You did. You remembered it like in the late morning too.
So I thought that was very strange, very unusual for me, right? Both of us remember having this conversation. Neither of us can remember what the dream was. And this is something that happens quite a bit, where we do that, where we remember the map, the most map level thing, which is to say, sort of the summary takeaway. Conversation about a dream that stood out because of this reason, this warrant, and that's the takeaway. Well, what was the dream? Well, does it really matter? Well, yeah, I really would like to know what it was now. but I can't remember it.
Yeah.
The fact that YouTube doesn't give me notifications must mean that it is the being seeking its untimely death. There's a number of, you're only allowed to have 3 notifications sent out a day. So it's possible that I've used up my 3 in the last 24 hours. I think I probably did. So I did. So that's why you didn't get a notification. Am I watching the election? No. Is my dad? Probably. He's out of town right now. Each of us are metaphysical thinkers, so details are meaty maz. Right. Details tend to be meaty maz until you really wish you had the detail. I mean, the thing is, I don't think I can ever recall. No, that's not true. I can recall waking up with a song in my head, but failing to record it or get it down or something. Unfortunately. One time I remember that happening. But other than that, I can't remember ever being inspired or motivated or having insight because of a dream. But it is the case that a lot of times, not so much anymore. It hasn't happened in a while. No, it happened not that long ago, actually. But when I go to sleep, when I'm in this middle state between sleep and awakeness, I'll hear music playing, like as though I have headphones on almost. It's strange. I can like listen to one part while the rest of it continues to play without whereas you think if you were generating it yourself, I wouldn't be able to do that, but I can't when I'm awake, but it's weird. I don't know how to exactly explain it. It's like when I'm half asleep and half awake, and when this happens, and most nights it doesn't happen, but sometimes it does, I'll hear this song playing. It's not a it's not a song I know, maybe, usually, or sometimes it is, and I can hear everything clear as day, like as though it's literally playing, and so I can listen to the hi-hat and then listen to the other thing, and the song's moved along with my listening to it. That's it's a weird thing that happens when I'm between sleep and awakeness. Anyhow, Eric, I often have song ideas come to me right when I wake up, usually after being well rested and not having dreamt. Interesting. Okay, I want to test something. Pretty much the default for me. I only get alerted if it's a horrible nightmare. I heard a song years ago when I got through a very long, dark tunnel with a light at the end of it. Huh. I have recurring dreams. I dream about flying and the ocean and tidal waves and houses and a carnival and driving over a bridge that goes almost straight up in the sky. Straight to the sky. I like flying dreams best. If cloud comes in the next 5 minutes, I shall name myself a grand sorcerer. Okay. It's a deal. You've made a deal with yourself. I expect you to keep it. Well, in this case, I am pretty sure it's simply that there's a 3 notification per 24-hour limit, and I've surpassed mine. So I used up my notification because I did that gaming live stream in the middle of the night last night. I felt like playing League of Legends and live streaming it.
Aww.
So I did.
I'm so glad you did.
I wonder if you can choose not to send notifications to save it for later, because I probably wouldn't have sent notifications on that. A question mark? I've had that happen to me before too. Okay, you are not crazy, and I believe you, because this happened to me one time in high school. It was the craziest thing. I had a cassette tape in the car, and the thing is, I had various mixtapes, like on that I have to make with cassette tapes. I'd like play the LP and I'd record a song from one LP and then I'd record a song from another LP. Like, that's how I'd make a mixtape. So I had one tape that was all Beatles songs, and after some song that was on came on the song Piggies by the Beatles on the Beatles tape. On this tape, this song ended the side, and then there was empty blank sound of cassette tape, right? So I was in the car and this song ended, and then Piggies came on, clear as day, and I was singing it along with it, and it was clearly playing through the speakers, and I was enjoying it, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden the tape flipped over, and I realized, wait, why did Piggies cut off just a little bit ways through the song? And I flipped it back over, and it wasn't there. It was never there. But it was clear as fucking day. I know it was playing through the speakers. So that's
freaky.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's Halloween-y stuff.
What it is, it's the power of the mind to do the equivalent of visualizing things, except it's audializing things.
Yeah.
And if all the context and everything are right, then your experience of reality is the same thing as reality until it isn't, until the tape flips over. So it's also the case that I hear music or other sounds and stuff in water sometimes, especially when I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. Like the bathtub will be on, and I can listen to it, and I can hear sometimes big band music playing in the background. It's something I hear it with the wind too in the car. If I have the window down a certain distance and it makes a certain kind of, I can hear it basically sounds like there's a radio playing behind it.
I remember I had that, I told you that moment in Central Park in Strawberry Fields. Like I had one of the worst days ever. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to John Lennon's old house and I'm going to go to Strawberry Fields. And it was freezing cold and you're not allowed to really go into the field. And again, I was like, fuck it, I'm going in this fucking field. I'm going to fucking zen out and listen to my music and just fucking be here. And all of a sudden, my music changed in the middle of a song to a Beatles song. And I was like, oh my God, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah. There's a lot of synchronatic things in the world.
Yes.
Synchronatic, I guess. The world of no form, I would call it. In that light, I communicated with Masters, the world of no form, I would call it. I've never been a drinker, nor have I ever smoked. I do not like snakes, but I do like many other things. So the snake thing makes me have a lot of questions. That's a weird sentence. That's an incredibly strange sentence.
Diamond, I had a terrible dream with a lot of snakes one time. I was in this safari place, and I was in a Jeep, and the Jeep just was becoming overcome by snakes. And then I found a house, and I was like, yes, I can get away from snakes. And then inside the house was all these snakes. And I Googled snake dreams, and I was like, oh, just having some other interpretation of it for me, comfort me. Am I giving you a headache?
No, you have nothing to do with this. I do have a bit of a it's not a headache. It's a right here ache probably from clenching my jaw too much. So I'm kind of rubbing the muscle.
It's good.
So Sean O'Neill says the serpent is really strong in human mind. I mean, I don't know. I don't experience life through these archetypes very often. I understand that there are other types who experience life through these archetypes a lot more actively than I do. Rachel sees more meaning in things than I do, and sees meaning in things that I don't see meaning in sometimes. And it's not like one of us is correct and one of us is incorrect. It's two different frames of reference. When the meaning that she discovers is a meaning that's a good meaning, then we celebrate it. If the meaning she discovers is a little bit more, is a little less trustworthy of a meaning to not be an adversary, then my NE will wash it away. Basically.
Yeah, it's so great. It really is.
So it works well as a partnership as far as NI and NE go.
Yeah. I do want to side note and say that I do think that we should pay attention to our dreams. Like, I was going out with someone who I wanted to break up with multiple times. And I believe my dreams at the time were trying to tell me, like, you're not happy. You need to do something about this. And I mean, I can't say that my dreams were wrong.
Right. I had one such dream before as well. Before my first marriage, I had a dream. I had this incredibly awful student at work named Eileen who it was very kind of dangerous because she liked to try to gouge people's eyes out. I shit you not.
Wow.
No cap, as Abraham would say. Like she'd go to him and go,
Whoa.
you know. So anyway, her name was Eileen, and she was just a terror. And I had a dream before I married my first wife, and in the dream that I was being married to Eileen, and I was just like, no, it's like, talk about NI hitting me over the head with a sledgehammer.
Seriously.
And what did I think about that? I just thought, well, yeah, that dream doesn't look good. You know, I probably don't want to tell anybody about that because they're gonna say maybe you shouldn't marry Melinda. But
I think for me, ignoring NE was not being able to stand up for me and other people. I never had the words, and it made me feel like a coward. You know?
It's not cowardice, it's knowing. You know what the thing is. Extroverted intuition is the alternative to that. What the fuck it is,
right,
is the first thing extroverted intuition says.
Right. And I had a lot of trouble doing that for a very long time because I didn't know. You know, I didn't know the function set. It took me meeting an ENTP to be like, oh shit, fuck, you can't stand up for yourself. You can't use words to be like, no, boundary here, like, I'm not going to accept this.
I mean, extrovert intuition is the put function of the external metaphysical field. If we think about there being four fields, right? Inside your head, words. Outside your head, words. Inside your body, feelings and stuff. Outside your body, objects and stuff. Okay? So the key thing to note here and remember is there are two fundamentally different but equally necessary and equally important planes of being. One of them is the map plane, and one of them is the territory plane. So what extroverted intuition is mostly words, but not only words, but rather generating new stuff for the map. In other words, creating new stuff on the map to explain things. Or not, or just to answer questions or whatever. The point is, it's putting out ideation where other people can receive it in its most native manifestation. That doesn't mean that you can't extrovertedly intuit onto the internal metaphysical field. Both fields can have information put on them. So I can think in my head and remember it as knowledge and then say it later. Or I can say it on the spot right now. Like, I didn't think any of this before you asked the question. So this is just information I'm putting out there on the external metaphysical field on the fly. Now, it's not necessarily creating new information either. It's a combination of a couple of different things. Most of what I'm saying is stuff that I'm referencing or information, facts that I'm drawing from knowledge that exists already in me. I'm not making up explanations that are inconsistent with previous explanations. I'm just repeating explanations that I've given before. On the other hand, I'm not saying it in exactly the same way, and I'm able to say it fluidly and articulately until that moment, by and large, in ways that people can understand and they make good sense, right? So, what is extroverted intuition? It's putting information on a metaphysical field. That's the simplest definition of it. Let's see here. Sean O'Neill says, I've been single-handedly trying to breathe life into TWP Facebook page with memes and Neo stuff, but so far just thumbs up and no comments and discussions. Yeah, well, it's kind of, it's like I don't go on Facebook much anymore myself, so it's to the extent that that community is self-sustaining, great. To the extent that it's not, then that's what it wants to be, or what it wants to not be, whatever. I try to keep my focus narrow. I try to keep blinders on. I'm doing this, Why? Why would I want to do a Discord server, Skygear? This is the thing. People are always making suggestions like this. Hey, Shad, long time no see. People are always making suggestions that I segue onto this or that other platform for this or that other reason. It's fun. It's not. I am having perfectly good fun here. If somebody else wants to run a Discord server for me, it's fine. But I don't want to. Well, I mean, there should be permanence. I have live chat replay enabled, I think, don't I? Permanence. Hey, Skygear, listen. Nothing lives forever. Oh, really? You're chilling with Jeff Wagaman? I have his old electric guitar right here. That's cool. How you doing, Jeff Wagaman?
That is really cool.
Yeah, I bought my American Fender Strat from that guy many years ago. Many years ago. I remember it, though. I remember going up to his house in, I don't know, Pasadena somewhere. And I got a good deal on it. He gave me a good deal. Thanks for that. I appreciate that, Jeff. Many years later. If I didn't say it at the time, I appreciate you giving me a good deal on that. I ended up riding my motorcycle with it one time, and it slipped around my shoulder, and it so that the top of it went on the ground, and it ground the top of this thing flat.
I see it.
The cement did before I got it back up. But you know what? It didn't hurt the guitar at all. Works the same just fine. Of course, me taking out all the electronic stuff because I felt like trying to change the pickup, even though I'm incredibly shitty at that, and I know I should know better by now. I know I'm just gonna take it apart, and it's gonna then be apart forever until I pay somebody to put it back together again. You know?
I gotta practice more.
Yeah, well, it'd be a lot easier if we had the electric working.
Yeah, man.
Because you're playing my very difficult acoustic guitar. Eric D. Strauss is a very convincing protagonist name for a Crunchyroll feeling drama.
You know what I think it is great for? It's a very convincing name for a president.
That's right. It is.
Eric D. Strauss.
And for a hat revolutionizer, is that too bold?
No.
Have I revolutionized this hat?
Make it yours.
Oh, that's my dad's. He'll get mad at me.
No, I don't.
If I just took this from my dad, even though listen,
you're taking it the literal sense.
I know, but I want to explain this, just so people understand how ridiculous this world is of mine. This thing here has been sitting underneath the dresser in our room for, I don't know, a year at least. And but if I were to wear this around without asking my dad if I could have it or wear it first, I would definitely get in trouble. Son, write a VH or a Maiden logo on it. Shad knows. That proves you're over 40, Shad. My daughter didn't know what this was. It's interesting. One lady at the wheat store today commented on my shirt and said, "Is that those folders?" But she looks younger than 40. She looked like she's about 30, maybe. Let's see here. Visors on a 6'4" individual is mad SE presence. Well, the thing about this one that I like is it's from the Waiakoloa, which is a resort in Hawaii. So, it's really riding a challenging wave. If you fall to one side, you land on fanny packs, But on the other hand, you could be one of those preppy rapper types, So
it's true. Nobody fucks with the visor dudes. It's true, Neil. It's true.
Yeah.
I think that's why your dad wears them.
Visor is a synonym for badass.
It is true. No one's gonna fuck with people with a visor. I don't know why. Like, you gotta have the confidence to wear it.
First of all, you're saying, I don't care if the top of my head gets sunburned. I don't give a fuck. I live on the edge. Oh, I'm not worried about skin cancer on the top of my head.
That's so funny.
I'm also saying, fuck, I'm not wearing this hat to keep warm. Right? Obviously, I don't care if heat escapes right here. Do you know you lose 10% of your heat through your head? It's true. If you're out in the cold. This visor, again, you're just, it's devil may care.
That is devil may care in the cold.
It's freezing cold outside. I will lose 10% of my heat from my head, but I'm intentionally going to wear a hat with a hole in it. That's how devil may care I am.
Yeah. Wow. I had no idea who I was dealing with.
Sky Gear's right. Sky Gear has nailed it. Hi, Rosemoose. After a game of FIFA with a friend, he made me so angry I went upstairs and kicked my empty guitar bag, which wasn't really empty. My guitar still has a foot-sized hole in it, and it sounds great. Well, the last part's fine. Everything up until the last part was very sad, though. Maybe it's like that famous trumpet by Dizzy Gillespie that was bent, and he liked it better the way it sounded after it was bent. The key thing about a visor is you've got to wear it according to your tone and what you're what vibe you're going for. So if I want to be more professional, I wear it more up here. Bob, look, we got to take care of these things. See, it's more of that vibe, right? If I want to be regular Eric, kind of cool, put it down here like this. I'm just regular Eric now. Well, let's say I want to be, I want to vibe more with the use. I want to connect with what's now, what's happening. Well, then I got to go this way a little bit, like this. No cap. That shit is dank. Like that. And then people go, wow, you're so youthful. Now, if I wear it like this, what do I look like? I look like an accountant, right? That's accountant style.
Oh, yeah. It is accountant style.
No, that would be more like this, right? Wait, what's accountant style? Like this? Is that an accountant?
No.
What's this? If I wear it like this, I'm like an officer in the Indian military.
Yes.
You will go and get me some curry right now. You will get back here right now. We'll have no more of this from you. I'm a prop comic. Who knew? All right. Well, I got to split, y'all, because I got a 5 p.m. and I like to have 15 minutes or so between thing and thing. I love you all. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Rock and roll and aloha.